So let's get to this restaurant in Hawaii, sparking some outrage with Trump voters, certainly. It's Honolulu's Cafe 8.5. Cafe 8.5 is the name of the restaurant. And the sign says, it's hard to read here, but it says, if you voted for Trump, you cannot eat here. No Nazis. Now, the owners say, while they're not actually asking people who they voted for, they just wanted to express their dislike for the president-elect. The attorney, Nolan Klein, is here. What do you make of this, Nolan?
Well, I think that this is probably something that falls within the category of extremely infuriating, mind-numbingly infuriating, but probably not illegal. Civil rights laws really protect certain classes of individuals, individuals who have a certain race or religion, sex, etc. But there's really no protection for people based on their political affiliation. And so what these people have done is infuriating and probably from a business perspective, really not wise, because God knows how many customers they're turning down. I mean, I don't know if they're doing that well that they could just turn down customers. But in any event, not wise from a business perspective. It is probably not illegal.
You know, that's the key point, what you said about, I have no idea why a business would ever want to make their own political beliefs known and just turn away a whole population of people. What do you care who's coming in? Supposedly this guy, from what I read, models himself kind of after the Seinfeld soup Nazi character. You know, he's that kind of guy. I mean, whatever, but why would you want to have people not come into your restaurant? Now, it should be clear, again, to the legal point, they're not banning anyone. They're putting up this sign, but if you come in, they're not saying, hey, who'd you vote for? They're going to serve you no matter what, so...
Well, as a practical matter, they're banning people because nobody that actually voted for Trump and sees that sign is going to come into their restaurant. So they can say, well, we're not actually stopping you from coming in. And I believe there was a quote from the wife that we're not putting anything different in your food. That's comforting. But as a practical matter, people are not going to come in there when they see that sign. And to me, frankly, the most offensive part of all of it was the no Nazis part of it.
Yes.
I mean, to post that, and you don't know who's walking by your store. Maybe there are Trump supporter Holocaust survivors who may be considering coming into your store. You're posting that you're equating them to Nazis. I mean, it is just so grotesque. It is just so far beyond the pale. It really pushes the limits, probably, of what is or isn't legal. But just right off the bat, based on what we know so far, I don't see anything that jumps out at me as blatantly illegal.
What would they have to do, by
conduct.
the way, for something like this to be illegal? What would have to be included? An outright ban?
Well, so if they put a sign on their door that they're not going to serve people of a certain race or of a certain religion, that would be outright illegal. But as it stands right now, this is probably within the category of stupid but protected political speech.
Right, but if they said, oh, they're not going to serve, I mean, they're saying don't come in here, but if they just said outright, hey, we're going to ask you your vote for, I mean, I'm trying to make it even more crazy than it is, I guess, but they said, we're going to have a poll on the way in, who'd you vote for? Is that illegal, that kind of thing?
Well, I think that, again, customers would have to vote with their feet. People who voted for President-elect Trump are not within a protected class under any civil rights laws. And so I would certainly encourage people not to go there if they're offended by this. And certainly the proprietors who did this must know that people who are offended aren't going to come in, and they've made a business decision. I'm sure their cafe is not unique to its area, and you can go somewhere where your patronage is actually appreciated, and you probably should do that.
That's a larger point, is this is probably not good business, albeit, you know, in a state of Hawaii that's a big Democratic state. Still, if you're turning away anybody, why do that? Nolan, thanks. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Even though it was such a crazy story. Now, home prices.